Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I'm so happy and honored to see my more sister, more than a brother. And that at excellent design, alhamdulillah, and our mission, alhamdulillah. I know Dr. Nen for before September 11. I know, alhamdulillah. So for years together, alhamdulillah, and I was actually a professor at American Open University. And also an imam in Florida, and she came from New York after September 11. She became Muslim, alhamdulillah, and وحسن إسلامها. She studied with us actually الفقه المقارن. Studied with us المذاهب الأربعة, alhamdulillah. And now we're going to speak about the most important time. And in fact, when she got the PhD, I was supporting the PhD 100%. In fact, she's a scientist in the beginning, and also she's a principal in the school. And not only that, she would create together, me and her, many curriculum schools, different schools together, alhamdulillah. But holistic medicine, actually, the PhD in the food, in the real food. And the first case is me. I was sick for a long time. And even the doctor gave up for me. They gave me 3 months to live. And alhamdulillah, now, 6 years now. 6 years, I'm not feeling sick anymore, alhamdulillah. Allah Azza wa Jal sent her to help me, alhamdulillah. And she did this picture, similar, different masjid in Florida. And I insist to have her own masjid. Alhamdulillah, she accepted it. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Now, your yes. Yeah, but this is the best one. Yes, this is the best one.
Assalamu alaikum. So it is a pleasure to be here with you all and speaking about some of the topics that I'm so passionate about. And I'm happy to see a lot of the sisters here. And I wish there were more brothers here because this topic is so important to us. I wish that there were more brothers here because the topic is so important for us as an ummah to be. So my topic, just a bit, bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The topic tonight is called holistic wellness. Can you translate holistic wellness?
يعني كل شيء بالجسم، يعني كل شيء بالجسم وروح الجسم، الروح نفسه.
Yes, and this is an area that I'm very, very passionate about. I am a clinical nutritionist, and I also have a degree in Islamic studies. So I love Islam, and I love science. So I love to mix the two of them together, put everything together. So we are healthy in our body, in our mind, and in our Islam, in our deen. So this is going to be, my lecture tonight is going to be surrounded around this topic, inshallah.
In the beginning, actually, the moment she became Muslim, she studied الفقه المقارن. And after that, he actually من science من علماء الكيمستري يعني كيمستري لكن بيولوجي لكن قررت ايش الاسلام بيقول وايش القران والسنه ايضا. هي بتجمع كل القران والعلم مع بعض وتتكلم فيه وبالذات عشان شهر رمضان.
So I'd like to start off with the dawah, just Allahumma baligna Ramadan. It's coming up within a week, inshallah. Next week it will be here, and inshallah, ya Rab, we will be one of the people who will witness this beautiful month of Ramadan. As we saw what happened in Turkey, 45 seconds, everything was changed. And a lot of our Muslim brothers and sisters were looking forward for this month. But SubhanAllah, everything changed for them. So inshallah, we will be among the people who will experience this beautiful month. So this is our plan. So our plan is to welcome Ramadan. And so we say Ahlan Ramadan, right?
Yeah, we are Ramadan.
We're preparing to welcome Ramadan. So usually when we prepare for Ramadan, I think Chef, we did something last week, more about rulings, right? When we prepare for Ramadan, we usually focus on spirituality. What are the rulings? What's going to happen if we are sick? How long do we have to fast? How can we break our fast? And all these different rulings. But what I find, when I became a Muslim, I found that a lot of the times the Muslims, they're so focused on their spirituality, and but not so much on their physical health. Their spiritual health they're focused on, but not so much on the physical health. And they're so important. So this talk is going to be focused on a healthy Ramadan. And why a healthy Ramadan? And this is because health, and they say this is like a saying, an expression, health is wealth. Health is so important. And there's a saying that the person does not appreciate their health until they become sick. And my husband, he was sick for many years. For more than 10 years he was sick. And he was an imam for many years before he was sick. But there was a time when he could not make sujood. He could not walk by himself. He could not even make wudu by himself. And it was hurting him so much that he couldn't do the basic things, not travel and lift weights or anything, just basic things, just to pray normally or to even make wudu. Even to put his foot in the sink to wash his foot, he couldn't do it. So if we have a healthy body, our goal in Ramadan is so we can have all of the ajr, because we know all the rewards. And we want to have a lot of ibadah in Ramadan, a lot of worship. But if we're not healthy, we're not strong, then that's going to affect our ibadah, right? But if we're healthy and are strong, then we can have a month full of beautiful ibadah. Or the opposite, we just feel like, we're so sick, we're tired, we're this, we're that. So how can we stand for Taraweeh? How can we make extra ibadah if we're not? So our goal in Ramadan is to unlock our potential. We want to be ready spiritually. Usually we prepare like a month before, or maybe sometimes more. So how we used to prepare for 6 months before, just preparing for this month. Why? Because of all of the barakah in this month. So we want this month for our beautiful ibadah, and if we're looking for this goal, beautiful ibadah, then we have to look at two things: our spiritual health, we want to get closer to Allah, and our physical health. And if we want to have physical health, then our bodies have to be part of the conversation. We need to look at our bodies and put that part of the equation. So what is physical health? Our physical health is three things. How fit we are. And doesn't mean that we have to be bodybuilders, right? Just means, can we do basic things? Can we pick something up? Can we stretch? Can we bend? Can we get something from Costco on the top shelf and not say, I have a pain, right? Just basic things. We want to just be fit. And of course, nutrition is part of it. And our rest. Our rest is very important. Sometimes we're just going, but we're not giving our body the honor of giving it rest. So we have to look at those three things. So what does it mean to be healthy? So I want this to be very interactive. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think it means to be healthy? Anybody? Be brave. No long answers here.
Yeah.
Exercising? Okay, good. To exercise and have movement. Very good.
Eat healthy.
To eat healthy. Very good. Okay. So when we talk about health, let me just start with what is not healthy. So what is not healthy is a weight loss fad diet, okay, or a certain body size, okay, because we kind of got sucked into marketing and overbearing kind of cultures where they kind of perpetuate the idea that being healthy is a certain size. And Allah created us all different, with different body sizes. And it doesn't mean that a smaller size equates health. That's not true. And it doesn't mean that a large body size is not healthy. We all have different frames, right? And health is not perfection. It's a journey. You're going to go up and down, and it's just like, it's a process. So you have to respect the process. Nobody is perfect. Just like, we are Muslims, but we're not perfect. Doesn't mean we're perfect human beings. So health doesn't mean that we're perfect. And health is not a burden. If you feel like you're trying to be healthy and it's just so hard, then something's not right. It's a journey. We should push ourselves a little bit and strive, but it shouldn't feel like a burden, like a problem, okay? And what is health? Health is feeling our best selves. And that can mean different things for different people. For my husband, when he was sick, being healthy for him was, just being able to feed himself. And being able to walk down the block. That was, at one point, that was his definition of health. Now it's something different. So we have to honor that for ourselves. We have a different situation, circumstances, in different times of our life. And being healthy is also, can we function optimally? Can we do our best? My best now is maybe different last month, or different last year, and it'll be different next year. So we have to look at our individual path. And being healthy is also holistic, meaning we have to look at all parts of our health, our spirituality, our physical health, our mental health. All of that is important, and it's personalized. So what's healthy for me may not be healthy for you or him. It's going to be different. It's going to look different. So Ramadan is a very unique month of blessings. We are refraining, we're stopping some things, and then we are adding other things, right? And we're doing a lot of self-reflection. We're looking at ourselves, we're questioning ourselves, we're pushing ourselves to do more. And the big focus on top of it all is so that we can be closer to Allah, right? We want to be closer to Allah, we want to push our nafs down so we can be better spiritually, right? And when you look at, and of course on top of all of that, the whole underlying theme of Ramadan is fasting. So fasting now, we have in the scientific literature, they're all speaking, all the non-Muslims, they're all speaking about fasting, intermittent fasting they call it. And there's different types. There's intermittent fasting, there's time-restricted fasting, there's 5-2 fasting, there's caloric restricting. There's so many different ways they do it. And if you look in the literature, since 2019, it became very popular. Before that, it was not popular at all. But I tell all of my patients and my clients that Ramadan, Islam had fasting, intermittent fasting, way before the scientists were talking about it. So Muslims are like, Ramadan is like the OG, the original fasting. We've been talking about fasting before it was a style, because now it's just a style for them. And the reason why they are so interested in it is because it has so many health benefits. It helps cardiovascular health. If you have high blood pressure, if you have high cholesterol, if you have diabetes, if you have cancer, if you have arthritis, all of these benefits, they're trying to, they are recognizing the benefits of it. But for Muslims, it's something higher for us because we're doing it for the sake of Allah and we're doing it as a religious fast. And it's a little bit different because even their type of intermittent fasting, you can drink water and coffee throughout the day. But for us, it's a dry fast. We don't take anything throughout the day. So when we're looking at fasting, when I first became Muslim, I fasted, even though I fasted wrong. I didn't know. I was drinking water throughout the day. I said, this is so easy. But until somebody told me, no, you're not supposed to drink water. I said, oh my God, how am I supposed to? I'm going to starve, But then I realized that it was not, Allah made it easy, alhamdulillah. It's not, you're not starving. The way Allah describes it, you are refraining. You are just staying away from something for a certain time. And Allah gives you the power throughout the day and puts the barakah so you are strong throughout the day fasting. So what happens when we are refraining, when we are staying away, like Miriam, she was fasting, meaning she refrained from speaking. So you are refraining. When you are refraining, it feels good because shaitan is knocked out. You are pushing away all your nafs. And when you're pushing your nafs down, your nafs, the lower part of your nafs is getting weaker. but your higher self is getting stronger, right? Because you feel so good and you're more close to Allah. So, of course, you know that when we are refraining from food and drink and intimate relationships and our normal routine, anything that is halal, we are refraining from it. So if it's easy for us to refrain from the things that are halal, then it should be even more easy for us to stay away from the things that are not halal. Maybe sometimes we're doing something that's not the best. So there's some of the scholars, they describe fasting in different levels. The first level, can you read it in Arabic?
صوم العموم صوم العموم.
Yes, so they say this is the very this is the very first level of fasting, and the first level is basically you're just changing the time of your fast. So you just changing the time of your eating schedule. You're just not eating, but nothing else. This is, they say, the fast of the common folk. You're just not eating during dawn until sunset. And they say this is like the fast of the child. If you have children and they're practicing to fast, they say, did you fast today? I didn't eat the whole day. Oh, mashallah, that's it. They're not eating, that's all. Then the next level, this is the fast of the elite. This is when you are not eating during the time, but also you're controlling your body. You're controlling your tongue, your ears. You're controlling, so it's more than just not, because like some people that they fast, but they're still maybe loose with their tongue, insulting people, speaking, looking at things they're not supposed to. Their fast is accepted, inshallah, but it's the lowest level. So the second level, which most of us are practicing this level, we're not eating, but also we are trying to protect our mouth, our tongue, our eyes, our ears. And then the highest level, this is the elite of the elite. This is not even just controlling their bodies or controlling their thoughts. This is a higher level, mostly for the prophets and the martyrs. So most of us are in the middle, which is controlling our stomach and our body. So when you're controlling your body, what does that mean? That means you're protecting, because Allah said, the Prophet said that fasting is like a shield, right? Yeah, it's a shield. What does the shield do? It protects you. So you're protecting your tongue, you know, just like if someone insults you when you're fasting, what are you supposed to say? Yeah, I'm fasting. So you're protecting, instead of saying something right back, you're protecting your tongue. You see something that's maybe not pleasing to Allah, you don't want to look at it because I'm practicing this when I'm fasting. And when you're listening to something, maybe someone is backbiting or something, or there's some music or something that you know is not pleasing to Allah, you just like, no, I'm fasting right now, I'm fasting. So you're ready, like you know, you're pushing down to opening yourself more for new habits. So now, one way, since fasting is the shield, it's protecting us and our mouth and our hearing and our eyesight, we have to protect our stomachs too. But how do we protect our stomach? And when you think about the stomach, of course, we think about food. So what is food to you? I'll take any kind of feedback. When I say food, what comes to your mind?
Water.
Water? Okay, good. Anything else? If I say food, does it make you happy? What do you think about?
Physical food?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Food is fun, food is comfort, food is family, food is culture, right? And food is connection. Food is all these things. When you think about food, it normally gives us joy. You know, we love food. Most of us, we love food. We love our cultural food. It just really gives us a nice comfort. And if you want to think about it scientifically, food is medicine. Food has the ability to transform your health. Food is information. It lets our genetics express or inhibit our genetics. And food is a nourishment. You know, it helps us to grow. It nourishes our body, and food also nourishes the earth. Okay? But food is also confusing. How's food confusing? Because one day food is really good for you. This food is so good for you. You have to eat it, like butter, let's say. Oh, next time, no, food is bad for you. This is bad for you. So then you have a food war. It's confusing. And this food will help you lose weight. No, this food is going to make you gain weight. No, this food is going to help you build muscle. Then you have diet culture. And then you have all these scientists study this, and this is really, really good study. No, this is a very bad study. Why? Because they have an agenda. So food can be also confusing. So what happens to like the conference, if we don't forget the science, they say, I don't even know what to do anymore. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He clears all the confusion. Because food, and you're talking about food science, there are social norms. Like, one culture or one company is going to push a certain food, and this is going to change year after year after year. Like, one time meat is really good for you, no meat is so bad for you. No plant-based, no animal. But my grandparents were eating like this. So Allah clears all of this because He knows that things are going to change. But Allah created a baseline for us. He created that baseline because Islam is more than just a religion. Islam is a way of life. Islam tells us how to do everything in our life, even though things change in time. Culture changes, society changes, but we still have that baseline on how to live our life. Every detail, the way to eat, even the way to sleep, what to do when you have a problem, even how to go to use the restroom, every detail is there for us. So Allah created all of this for us. And like anything, whatever is there, the time of the Sahaba is very different from the time now, but basic fundamental principles are there for us. We have to add the things that are good for us, and the things that are not good for us, just limit it. Maybe you cannot stay away from everything, but just limit. So, this ayah,
يا أيها الناس كلوا مما في الأرض حلالا طيبا ولا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين.
So Allah says that eat, all mankind, eat whatever is on the earth which is lawful and pure. Allah says halalan tayyiban. That means something is halal, and something that's tayyib is tayyib. Doesn't mean that everything halal is tayyib. Halal and it's tayyib. So if something is halal, like Coca-Cola and chips, is halal, but is it tayyib? Is it pure? Allah breaks it down into, He separates it, halal and tayyib.
اليوم أحل لكم الطيبات وطعام الذين أوتوا الكتاب حل لكم.
So again, Allah speaks of tayyib. He says, this day, all the tayyib food is lawful for you. So everything that's tayyib, and tayyib means pure, good and pure, like the goodness, right? All of that is good for us. And then,
فلينظر الإنسان إلى طعامه.
And Allah tells us, let the people consider the food, think about the food, instead of just being mindless and just eating anything that's there that may not even really be food. Maybe it's created in the lab or something. We have to think about that He created everything tayyib for us, and it's all halal for us. Whatever's tayyib is halal for us. So we have to think and reflect on the food that He gave us. So how does Allah clear this confusion for us? Allah gave us in the Quran and the Sunnah a nutrition prescription. Can you translate nutrition prescription?
يعني من أكل من الطبيعي، أكل من الطبيعي من الأرض، أكل طبيعي من الأرض.
Yeah, so Allah gave us a nutrition prescription baseline.
روشتة أكل أدوية طبيعية.
Yeah, so the first thing He tells us is we have to look at quality. The quality is tayyiban quality. Like, we're going to go through the ayat, but Allah says that we have to consider quality food. Second thing,
الوسطية.
Moderate, having moderation. So we are religion of moderacy, not too much, not too little. So it doesn't mean that, okay, maybe there's some cake or some samosas or some baklava or something. This is okay, but we know if we eat too much, it's not good for us. So be moderate. You don't want to be too much with, I'm not saying, I don't want to take away your cultural foods. I don't want to take away the food that you grew up on, because remember, food is comfort. And food has you attaching memories and it's connection. But we have to be moderate. Okay? And then? Kimiyya, quantity. Quantity, Allah tells us we're not supposed to eat too much. And muraqabah. Yeah, and the last part of Allah's nutrition prescription is mindfulness. And I will go over mindfulness towards the end. So the first quality, tayyiban.
فكل مما رزقكم الله حلالا طيبا واشكروا نعمة الله إن كنتم إياه تعبدون.
So in Surah Al-Nahl, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, eat what Allah provided for you, which is halal and tayyib. So, and be grateful for Allah's favor if it is Him that you worship. So Allah is telling us, looking at the quality, halal and tayyib. Not just like, I'm not going to sit there and eat hot Cheetos all day long because it's halal, but it's not tayyib. That means I have to look at the quality of the food. Next.
يا بني آدم خذوا زينتكم عند كل مسجد وكلوا واشربوا ولا تسرفوا إنه لا يحب المسرفين.
In Surah Al-Araf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, O children of Adam, take your adornment, your clothes at the masjid and eat and drink, but do not be excessive, meaning don't overdo it. You put clothes and food and drink together because these are the things that we tend to have extra. I know myself, I have too many clothes, my husband will tell you, do you need this? I have too many clothes and we should not, because we should have just what we need, right? And food and drink too. Sometimes we want, but we don't really need it. It's just this extra. Allah puts it all together, and because He does not like those who commit excess. He does not like us to do too much when we don't need it. The next part of His prescription.
ما ملأ ابن آدم وعاء شرا من بطن يحسب ابن آدم أكلات يقيمن صلبه إن كان لا محالة فتلك للطعام وثلث للشراب وثلث لنفسه.
So this is hadith in the Tirmidhi, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said that the son of Adam cannot fill a vessel worse than his stomach. And a few bites is enough for him. But if he needs more than a few bites, then we should have 1/3 for our food, 1/3 for our drink, and the other third for air, okay, or for worship in another riwayah. And we've all been in a situation where maybe we overeat. And how do you feel when you overeat? Sleepy. You have what they call a food coma. That's called scientifically as a food coma. You don't want to do anything. And you will have a stomach ache. So this is the example of the Prophet. Quantity. We're not supposed to have too much. Meaning we only need just a little bit. And we feel this after Ramadan. Because in Ramadan we kind of get trained. And after Ramadan comes, we try to eat. So, I can't eat that much because we trained ourselves, right? But what happens when I became Muslim? I mean, I'm Chinese, so the Chinese culture is sort of the same, but not like the Arab culture. The Arab culture is so generous. Mashallah, you go to the house and they're here and then here and here. And then you're so full, but then they can't come up and you can't say no. And then they come again and again. And then forget about if you go to another country. Every house is like that. You have to visit cousin and aunt and they give and give and give, and then you cannot. And it's so, and you cannot go to someone's house without them giving you something, which is really so beautiful. I've never seen a culture so generous like that. It's beautiful. But we're not following this 1/3 is too much, you know? So, and when you go to something, if they invite you, like for iftar or for dinner or anything like this, you know, feeding and feeding and feeding. So I would say, if you want to follow the sunnah, you know, and they offer and offer, you say, I cannot, I'm so full. And then they give you a big turkey leg or something there. Just say, you know what, can I take it home? Is that what, can I take it home? This will be a very polite way, because as out of love, they're doing it from the culture, and they do it because of love, and they want to give. They've been cooking, you know. But you want to honor your stomach. You want to follow what the Prophet said, and you want to follow Allah's nutrition prescription. So just say, Jazakallah khair, can I take it home? You know, instead of overfilling, because what's going to happen? You're going to have a food coma. And now just a little bit of the science. Why is the stomach the worst vessel to fill? So we don't need science to confirm the Sunnah or Islam. Islam confirms everything. The science is catching up to Islam. But scientifically, you know, we're not supposed to overfill our stomach, is because our health is in our gut. Our immune system is in our gut. If we overdo it in our stomach, it's going to cause so many problems. So when you honor your stomach, you are protecting your health. You know, and when you just eat just enough, you feel good. You know, you just feel good. Okay, and also the quantity of the food, another hadith, this is two different riwayah. The food for 2 people is enough for 3, and the food for 3 people is enough for 4, or the food for 1 is enough for 2, and the food for 2 enough for 4, and so on. Meaning there's barakah. If I have a plate of food and there's just not enough, I'm going to share it with my husband, and we're going to be good, because there's barakah in the food, and that means that we don't need that much. So in Ramadan, when we are fasting in Ramadan, our desires are tested, and our willpower is challenged. You know, we might be walking and we smell some food and it smells so good, but we don't. Our resolve is not is unshaken. You know, people always even, can I even drink water? Like, no. Like, maybe the first 2 days is a little hard, but after a while it just becomes easy. But after the fast, this is when we usually have the problem. Like when it's time for iftar, okay, what happened to the willpower? What happened to your resolve then? You know, are we still strong? Are we still having those healthy habits? So this is very common. A lot of Muslims, they say, oh, I have some Ramadan symptoms. I have no energy. I have a headache. I am sluggish. I feel lazy. But sisters and brothers, the Battle of Badr and the conquest of Mecca were both in Ramadan. That means not only were they doing all their ibadah and everything like this, but they were fighting. That means they had strength. Okay, they had strength to fight while they were fasting. So what causes all these Ramadan symptoms? Why do you have a headache and you're sluggish and all these kind of things? Because what you eat when you can eat, like the food that you eat while you are, during the hours that you're able to eat, that's going to affect when you feel when you're not fasting. So what we eat when we break our fast and when we eat for suhoor is so important for us to stay strong and not have these kind of symptoms. Ramadan is not a time for us to be lazy. Ramadan is a time for us to have exert more effort and for even. How can we stand up for Taraweeh and come home and do Quran and maybe pray more Qiyam al-Layl and do a lot of ejid and stuff? How can we and go to work and school? How do we do all of that? We need more energy. So one of the problems that we have is overeating at iftar. We cannot wait. And the mindset that we have is like, I deserve to eat this because I was fasting all day. I deserve it. I'm going to have, 5 samosas, and I'm going to have all the warbat, and I'm going to have doubles and triples. I deserve all of this. But scientifically, what happens to us when we eat like that? Our blood sugar goes way up, and we are overstressing our body. Because we're fasting all day. You're fasting all day, then suddenly you eat all this food, and then food that maybe not the best quality, you're putting a burden on your body. And then you're going to be so tired, you're going to live. And this has happened, maybe to all of us. So the sunnah and the science of breaking the fast. Okay, the sunnah, the Prophet ﷺ used to drink some water, or he would eat some dates, fresh or dry, take a break, and then he would go and pray. And then he would come and pray Maghrib. And then he would come and then he would have his meal. Okay? Now notice what he's doing. He's eating something small, okay, and drinking some water, and then going to pray. And scientifically, what that does is that gives our body a little break. So it's like stabilizing our blood sugar. And when I have people who have certain conditions where they cannot eat, and they need a certain liquid diet, like if they have SIBO or something, I give them, it's a drink that they have to take for like 2 weeks, okay, to have all the nutrition. But when we start introducing food back to them again, it has to be soft foods or soups. It's slow, because scientifically you cannot overtax the body like that, so they can get back into it. So sunnah, the science is catching up to the sunnah. And we have to be gentle with our body after fasting all day. And okay, and we get so hyper, like obsessed with what we're gonna eat, that we just overeat, and we might even overeat when we're hungry, and we see like the play food, the cakes, or the warba, or whatever it is, you know, we might tend to overeat it. But how can we change that? How can we stop that? The same level of control that we had while we're fasting, bring it when we break our fast, right? So when we are fasting, we're stopping ourselves, like, I don't want to listen to this right now because I'm fasting. But what happens when we break our fast? We just start listening to all these bad things. We don't do that, right? We're trying to change our whole habits of month. So why do we just let loose with our appetites? We have to come up with the same level. So we have to change our mindset. Instead of saying, I deserve to eat this, I deserve to eat that, say, you know what? I can do this. I trust that Allah is going to help me with this, because you are connected with something bigger, not just your appetite. So again, you have to look at Allah's nutrition prescription: quality, moderation, quantity, and mindfulness. And scientifically, quality, they call it nutrient density. You have to be healthy, nutrient dense. And it keeps your gut healthy, so you are stronger, you have better immunity. And so now the last part, muraqabah, mindfulness. So mindfulness is a buzzword. You all heard of mindfulness? Like, you have to be mindful, right? So in the Sunnah, we are also taught to be mindful, because when you sit down to eat, you have to start with Bismillah. So what does Bismillah mean? In the name of Allah. This is a beautiful, beautiful statement. Because if I sit here and I say, you know what? Bismillah. That means, you know what? I'm going to sit and reflect. In the name of Allah, I'm going to drink for you so I can be strong for you. In the name of Allah, I will not have this water without you. In the name of Allah, I'm so grateful that how many hands did it take to get this water to me? In the name of Allah, I'm going to drink this and it's going to nourish the body you gave me. So it's so deep. So you can't just do it. Like, you have to have meanings. You have to be mindful. And then when we are breaking the fast, we make dua.
Wait, what is apple?
So we make dua. Yeah, or the other one we break the fast. Yeah. So you make yes. So again, you have to be very mindful when because you're thanking Allah, you're remembering Allah. You're like, okay, alhamdulillah, I broke the fast. Alhamdulillah, Allah sustained me. Alhamdulillah, I have this and I'm breaking the fast. And the other hadith, we should not waste any food, because the hadith says that we should not wash our hands or get up until we kind of lick our fingers and take because you don't know where the barakah is. That means there's barakah in the food, and we cannot lick the plate and everything if we have too much food. So we have to be very, very mindful. So mindfulness is there also. Those are just the hadith about the mindfulness. And so that's the first part. The first part is just really mindset. You need to have a good mindset about how you're entering Ramadan. And now we get to talk about the food and the nourishment. So the very, very, very first thing that I like to focus on is hydration. Our body is mostly water. Okay, we have blood. Blood is made of water. Our cells need water. They need water in order to work, in order to do their job. So we have to make sure that we get our hydration in. But how can we do that if we're just having suhoor and iftar and maybe we're not even liking that much water? In general, we should be drinking half of our body weight in ounces. So like if somebody is 200 pounds, then they should need around 100 ounces of water. In general. Sometimes it's a little bit more if they're an athlete or working out, sometimes a little bit less. So how can we get all this water? You can have a cup of water before you have your suhoor. You can eat your suhoor. Then you have a cup of water after your suhoor. And then you have a cup of water when you're breaking your fast. So that's like 3 cups. And then you have 1 or 2 after iftar. And then you have 1 or 2 cups during tarawih. So I would suggest you get yourself a nice stainless steel or glass or some kind of reusable water bottle and bring it with you in tarawih. So you remember to just take sips. It's there for you. And then you take 1 or 2 cups before bed. So that's already like 8, 9, 10 cups. So that's one way to do it. The other way is if you're not really crazy about water, you can make infusions. You can take mint and put it in there. It looks so nice. You can slice oranges and lemons. You put it on the table like 2 hours before iftar and you look at it. It just looks so quenching. And it's like we eat with our eyes. And it has a little bit of flavor. You can have herbal tea. You can have coconut water, which has electrolytes in there. And you can have decaffeinated beverages. You can have caffeine too if you like, but if you have caffeine, it makes you urinate more, so you actually need more water. You can have caffeine, yeah. And also fruits. There are some fruits that have a lot of water, like watermelon. And vegetables also have water. And soups have water. So if you're not really liking a lot of water like that, set yourself up and congratulate yourself with small wins. So you know what? I didn't do so good in my water, but I'm gonna have more soup. So you make yourself remember in the beginning, health is not perfect. It is a progress, it's a journey. Right? So the sunnah of drinking water, again with mindfulness, you say bismillah. You take sips, not gulps, like a camel, right? Or 3 and 5 times the sunnah. Also, sitting down. So there's some hadith where the Prophet said that he forbade drinking water standing, and then some hadith where he was drinking standing. So it's like, you can do both, but it's preferred to be sitting, inshallah. But when you're sitting and if you're drinking your tea, you're usually relaxed when you're sitting down. If you're up and you're drinking, you're not really relaxed. So again, be mindful. Take it easy with your body. And then you say alhamdulillah when you finish. So again, you're connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you are being mindful. These are some pictures of infused water. Doesn't it look pretty? It's pretty, and when you see it, it's like, oh, it looks so good. And afterwards, you end up eating the fruits or the vegetables, right? Some examples. And then there's a drink. I wanted to make it, but my husband didn't have a container. It's called nabiz. You take the Prophet uses a prophetic drink. He used to take dates and soak it overnight, and in the morning drink the water. And it looks, all the minerals come out from the dates, has a little bit of sweetness that comes out, or he would put it soak it in the morning and drink it at night. It's so delicious. Yeah, but it's very important not to let this sit for more than a few days because it can turn into khamr. And you don't want that, the natural fermentation. So one night, one day is good. And it's refreshing. And you are following a prophetic drink. And then, so this is hydration. So make sure, please, that you stay hydrated because when you're hydrated, your cells are happy, then you will be happy. Then there is suhoor. So I don't like to eat too much in the morning. I just don't like, sometimes I'll eat, but not big foods. but I always at least drink water because of the hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said to eat suhoor because there's blessings in it. And the suhoor is a meal of blessings, so do not leave it, even if you just take a gulp of water. As Allah sends mercy and His angels seek forgiveness for the ones who take suhoor. So we have this already told to us, so we have to take suhoor. Now I'm so happy that, because I have some friends, their husbands, she told me, oh, I have to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning in Ramadan every day. I said, why? Because my husband wants 5-course meal for suhoor. I said, oh my God, how long my husband's not like that? But alhamdulillah. But the cultures are different. Like I heard in the Yemeni culture, their suhoor, their iftar is like adis and dates and some water and very light. But their suhoor is like, mashallah, big meal. So it's different. It's whatever works for you. Alhamdulillah, I don't have to wake up and cook all this stuff for him. He's a simple eater. But suhoor, take suhoor because, we need that nourishment. And even if you're like me, you don't like to eat heavy meals, at least drink something so you stay hydrated. Get your water in. And these are some examples of a healthy suhoor, but every culture has something healthy about it. Health, remember, this is personalized. It does not mean that it's one way for everybody. Like, I'm Chinese, kale and quinoa. This is like the picture of health. I didn't grow up on kale, I grew up on bok choy, right? So, nothing against kale, I love kale, but every culture has their own healthy staples. So there's a lot of protein in here, there's cheese, there's eggs, there's chickpeas in here. So remember, fruits and veggies, add them in your suhoor time if you can, because they have some water hydration in them. So what does the plate look like? Before we get into the food part, remember you want that quality. You want the halal and tayyib foods. You're nourishing your body. And then you want moderation. You're having some, last night's leftover samosas and musa. Okay, take one or half. Don't overtax your body. And then you want to leave the other half quantity for your prayer and your worship and your strength. And then you want to be mindful. You just want to make sure you are just taking your time and appreciating. So again, now it's time to break your fast on iftar. Break your fast on something small, dates if you can. So dates are sunnah, but dates are not for everybody. My husband has diabetes, so he cannot eat dates because it will raise his blood sugar. We don't want that. So the point is to break your fast on something small and then go and pray so you are stabilizing your blood sugar. And eat the rainbow. The rainbow, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us all these different colors. We have so many colors of vegetables and fruits, and every color has a different power, like a different superpower, something beneficial about them. And the beautiful thing is that if you mix the colors together, if you have red and purple beads together, the power in them has synergy. It kind of like levels up. It comes up together. So try as much as possible to add one color a day, one color a week. Try something new instead of eating all the red foods all the time, all the green food. There's purple, there's brown, there's white, there's tan, there's orange. Try to get all of it together. So how can you get it all together? Some examples of the salad. Salads are meant to be creative. When somebody says, I don't like salad, I almost guarantee you they're getting the salad that's already chopped up and in the plastic from Walmart or somewhere that's not fresh, and it's the same boring salad. Salads are not boring. You can do so many things and be so creative. You make a rainbow salad, so you can put anything you want in there. Pasta, greens, chickpeas, nuts, like sky's the limit. There's many, many different ways you can make salads. And eat your cultural foods. Make it a rainbow of cultural foods. And eat this is butternut squash. And then this one is beef and broccoli, because I'm Chinese, right? So that's a Chinese staple. So I got my colors in like that. Eat seasonal foods. Try something new. Okay, I have some different new foods here. And just even add a little bit to your plate. You know, and herbs and spices count. A little bit of pomegranate, romance, a little bit of salad, dill, a little bit of new spice. Just set yourself up for small wins. That's how you get all the colors in. And get the kids involved. These were all done by my students in 5th grade. You know, all the salads. So the first one is a rainbow hummus. We made hummus and we colored it with different real foods to dye it. You know, we used spinach to make it green. We used spirulina to make it blue. We had purple potatoes to make it purple, and the orange was a roasted red pepper. And they made it, and because they made it, they ate it. And all the salads, one day I brought in just like 2 or 3 different kinds of lettuce, an apple, some cucumbers, and something simple with some olive oil, lemon, and salt. And cabbage. And I told them, 4 groups, make your own salad. From the same ingredients, they made their own, and they all tasted different, subhanAllah. And because they made it, they ate it. And because they made it, they were so proud to give it out to the other teachers and the students. More try my salad, so you get the kids involved. And the kitchen is a huge place of blessing. To be with your kids and teach them, you know, it's a place of a center of health and bonding. And also the first one with the moon, my son and I did this. But the picture with the oranges and blueberries and strawberries, this is my big kid. He did this. He's a big kid. So he made a decoration. And if it looks nice, and because he made it, the decoration shows that he did it with caring, I ate it. I had to eat it all, you know. So get the kids involved. Okay, so what kind of foods are the best choices? You want to focus, number 1, if you have a plate, make half of your plate, you want it to be full of fiber. Fiber, you get it only from plants. You don't get it from animals. Fiber is only in plants. So plants is either fruits or vegetables. So that's how you get all your color in. Okay? And then the other part, that quarter, protein. Protein can be chicken, beef, lamb, fish, or plant-based protein, beans. Right? And then the other part, whatever you want. Everyone, you try this, for a week, you're going to feel so different. Even, you know, the way you cook to the restaurant, you're going to feel so different. Because remember, Allah says, let the people consider their food. Think about the food. So this is a picture of my blood sugar. I don't have diabetes, but I wear a machine sometimes because I like to see what makes my sugar go up and down. And you see there's a spike that goes up, and that means I ate something to make it go up, but it didn't go up past the limit. But after that, it went right back down. So I know whatever I ate, maybe it was something that was high in carbs, or maybe it was a little bit too much of something. I still don't like it to go that high. We don't want up. Everyone's sugar goes up and down, but some people have to watch out. So I just watch it. The next one is my husband's blood sugar. My husband's blood sugar. So it was steady. It was steady, but it was above range. See, my sugar was 75, okay, which is a good range. His was 162, and it was steady, which is high. And there was an arrow that said, and it's going even higher. So he's a person that needs to watch his blood sugar. Okay. And this is also his blood sugar. So it's up and down, and then right here, it goes up past the limit. This 200 is the limit. Past the limit.
Is this something?
No, this is, I don't know when this one is. Yeah. And then his machine will beep. We want to prevent this, because what happens when your sugar goes up, it's going to come back down, and then you're going to feel sluggish and tired, and you're going to get hungry again. Then you get hungry, and then up and down. We don't want, we want to eat one time and not think about it for a few more hours. We want the sugar to be steady. Our energy comes from our blood sugar. So we want to eat food that's going to give us slow and steady. And you know what? I always tell them, I don't want to see mouth focus. I don't want to see mouth focus like this, up and up, up and down. Yes. I want to see slow and steady. That's the way it's supposed to be. Maybe a little up and down. But if it's up and down, that's not good. This is diabetes or is preparing your body for diabetes. And diabetes doesn't happen just like that. It happens over years and years. So you want to be able to watch it. And you do that by having fiber and protein. So you want slow releasing energy in your food because you want to stabilize your blood sugar. So you have fiber, protein, and something else. That means you'll be full. So what does that look like? You can have a salad, okay, on one side. The other side, it doesn't have to be a salad all the time. You can have jam, you can have shakshuka, you can any other vegetables you can have there. And then half your plate is done. That's all that fiber, all the colors, right? And then you have your protein. And then the other half, you have anything else that you want. Whatever it is that you want. Then you must stay full. So, the sunnah of moderation, how do we stay moderate? How do you say moderate? Wasati? Yeah. How do you stay moderate? There's two ways. Either you follow a plate method, or you have to really put effort into being mindful. And the mindful way, the very first thing, you have to make an intention. You make the niyah, Ya Allah, help me. I want to just eat the way that is pleasing to you. Plan ahead. If you don't plan ahead, you get yourself in trouble. Because then you're going to get hungry, and then you're just going to eat anything. But if you plan in advance, like for instance, there's pizza tonight, right? My husband doesn't eat pizza. Well, he does, but if he does, it gets him in trouble. So he ate before he came, right? So that he's full, so he's not going to be, I'm so hungry, I just have to eat that pizza. So you plan in advance, and you set yourself for success. And also you have to chew slowly. If you chew slowly, if you chew fast, you're going to have a lot of stomach aches, and then you're going to overeat. If you chew slowly, you're going to take it easy for your stomach, and you're going to be full sooner. Okay? And eat slowly, so you don't have indigestion. When you eat fast, you feel that heartburn and indigestion. And honor yourself. When your body says, I'm hungry, eat. If your body says, I'm full, don't eat. Just wait. You honor yourself. The other way is using the plate method. I don't like this method for myself, but for some people, they need this. It helps them. This is perfect. Again, half of your plate is fiber, fruit and vegetables. You have some grains if you eat grains, some protein. Make sure you have your water and you help you fast, and make sure you're moving. You're staying active. And these are just some common struggles. You can, because of the interest of time, we won't go through them. But if you have dehydration, if you have a headache, if you have active reflux, there are certain tips. And with that, I'll say that just make the intention to have not just a blessed Ramadan full of ajr, make dua to have the healthiest Ramadan. Healthy in your mind, in your spirit, in your body. And Ya Allah, heal us, protect us, and let us reach the blessed month of Ramadan, because Ramadan is a month of true transformation. So that concludes my lecture. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them.
Have 5 minutes still.
Is that? I thought I was running late.
No.
Any questions or comments?
So,
Oh, brothers?
Okay, go with the sister first. If one of the sisters wants to know.
Oh, sisters? Yeah.
no.
If not, okay. So just sometimes with the kids, so we're trying to feed them, but sometimes they are picky, they want to eat this one. And it's a very good way that sometimes you have to make your own food to be able to eat it.
Yes,
So,
and with kids,
you have to trick them sometimes.
with kids, because you want them to have a good relationship with food. You don't want to say food good, bad, because all the food is good, right? Some food is just not tayyib, but we don't want to train them to say good food, bad food. So with kids, what counts is just having them exposure. Sometimes they have to see something, a lot of times for them to try it one time. And some they have to try it 10 or 12 or 13 times for them to like it. So just take a bite. Don't force them, because if they force it, they will end up hating it or just have this relationship with food. Like they grow up. I have this one boy in my class. He said, I hate salad. He just is automatic because his mother always tried to force it on him. Yeah, he was like that for a long time too, yeah. I mean, it's very like an old school way of doing things, you know, eat it or else. But then the kid doesn't end up liking it, you know. So they have to feel good about the food. Any other questions or comments?
Jazakallah khairan.
Jazakallah khairan.
Inshallah, brother, very important. Tomorrow for the sister, especially for the sister, tomorrow, inshallah, we have a Ramadan for the kids. The kids gonna be speak about Ramadan. Speak about Ramadan. Not hadith and ayah, what Allah said, because we know the rules of Ramadan. We know that. But we need the kids to speak about the feeling of Ramadan. What is Ramadan to us? What is Ramadan to us? Number one. Number two, and this is for men, this is for men. Please, the day of Ramadan, we need somebody bring fireworks. In fact, we are going to South Carolina,
Islamic Association of Raleigh.
And they call me, Sheikh Ibrahim, you're coming? Yes, are you sure you're coming? Yeah, I'm still alive. See, please come get us some fireworks because illegal there is legal here. Okay. So fireworks, yes, for the kids. I just so we need fireworks the day of Ramadan for the kids, inshallah. But halal, haram, we're not following, we're celebrating Ramadan. We want to be one American number one. Please, if you can get some fireworks, especially we have a lot of you fireworks, we have the day of Ramadan. The day of Ramadan, the night, the first Tarawih, we need somebody be in charge with the fireworks, inshallah, and all the kids come to have fireworks, inshallah. I need somebody on Abu Zawan. We need the legally, if we have fireworks in South Carolina or I mean North, South, yeah, South.
Only at the beach. Only at the beach.
Yeah? We want legally to celebrate fireworks, inshallah. And that's it. And Jazakumullah khair, inshallah.
When? What time?
When we cite the day of Ramadan, everybody say Thursday. Allahu Alam, I mean Friday. But Thursday, Tarawih, in that night, Thursday night, we'll make the fireworks, inshallah, after Salah al-Isha. Inshallah. Agree with that? Alright. So just thank you, Jazakallah. We have Isha now, and we have food and eat. Don't feed, inshallah, eat. But please, we have school tomorrow. We need the masjid to be clean. Clean the masjid because our kids here coming tomorrow. We have a party and we want the kids to be happy.
Just clarify about the TV come in to.
Yes.
About Ramadan kids.
Hold on, something very important. Amr is a Palestinian. What station? The TV station here. The TV station and also journalists coming home for the newspaper, coming tomorrow to speak with the kids. They're going to speak about Ramadan. The kids, repeat. And I sent a message for the parents to have any objection. But anyway, if you don't want your son, your daughter, your anyone not to be in the camera, no, please do in advance. In advance to tell the reporters, the TV guys, do not take our case in the picture. But I don't think it's a good idea actually for da'wah, and also the whole point for me as an imam of the masjid and in charge in the school to make our kids speak. Public speaker. We want the kids not to fear anybody except Allah. This is our goal in the masjid, inshallah. And may Allah guide us, all of us, May Allah translate the best Ramadan for all Muslim Ummah, Ya Rabbi Ameen. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. الميك أذان إن شاء الله.